My name is Matt Denman. I'm the guitar professor at Oklahoma City University. I also direct the Celedonio Romero Guitar Institute, and I'm the executive director of the Leanda Foundation that supports guitar efforts globally.
Yeah, so uh, how many positions do you have right now?
Right now, just three.
Just three, okay. But you actually has a huge influence in Oklahoma City in the guitar world, right? So all the high schools and universities, they all know about you. So how did you achieve that?
Sure. Well, when I was getting started, there wasn't very much guitar happening in Oklahoma City. And I just I was around at the right time when there was a lot of interest for guitar. There were many people wanting to learn guitar at a high level, but there
Yes.
weren't many opportunities. I was very fortunate to be able to work at a high school first, a
Hmm.
pre-college program that had very high quality students, and they did very well and actually won a lot of national competitions. And
Yes.
that's where my name started to become more known as an educator. And
Mm,
from that, the Guitar Foundation of America approached me and
yes.
asked me to take over as their education director. And then around the same time, Oklahoma City University was looking for a professor, and that's how I ended up here. I've been able to travel all over the United States and the world, working and visiting guitar programs and learning from them, and also just being able to share their stories and trying to help. I just want the guitar to be doing well all around the world,
Yeah.
and I want to do whatever I can to support that, because I believe that the guitar is so important and that it really makes the world a better place, and it reaches people that are not normally reached by other instruments. It's a very unique magical instrument, and it needs to be shared.
Absolutely, I totally agree. But you're not just a guitarist, but you're also a composer. So I'm a guitarist, he's a composer. So we
Oh,
are like two people, right? Guitarist and composer, but you as one. So you are same time guitarist and composer. How do you feel like being that kind of two roles, yeah, in you? How did you like balance
Balance.
it?
Yeah.
when I was at university, I graduated from Oklahoma City University. I have two undergraduate degrees. Music composition is one of my degrees, and classical guitar performance. It's always been a dual passion of mine. Um, I've just been commissioned to write two new works, and I like to write works based on beautiful places in nature.
Hmm.
And I'm writing for students, so it kind of it connects me with the larger vision of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to excite young people about playing the guitar, and I'm trying to encourage these guitar programs that have guitar orchestras, and trying to provide like high quality content for them to perform with their students. This one of this newest projects is going to be called the Valley of Fire, which is a location that's close to Las Vegas, actually,
Hmm.
that has a very large student body. So I'm going to be writing it for the Las Vegas guitar community,
Mm.
and hopefully that will be debuted next year. But the whole time that I'm writing it, I'm trying to think of what could inspire these kids to want to learn about Tarraga, about Segovia, about Pepe Romero, and about David Russell, and about all of the great legends of the guitar, and trying to bring them in, to inspire them.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
that sounds amazing. Yes. So he's a composer, but he found it's very difficult to compose for guitar if you are not a guitarist.
That's very true. And many great composers who have been able to write incredible symphonies, symphonic works. When
Hmm.
it comes to the guitar is like the harp in a way. The harp is difficult, I think, to compose for as well. But Julian Bream
Hmm.
actually wrote a beautiful article on composing for the guitar, and he was one of the very best people at getting people who had never composed for the guitar before
Hmm.
to come over and to write for it. So I will send that. If you do not have it, I will send it. It's really, really wonderful, and it's concise, talks about the limitations of the guitar, but also what it can do. So I would be glad to share it. And I think Bream did a wonderful job of presenting the instrument to composers.
That's wonderful.
That's what we need.
Yeah, because like
Yes.
in the past when I study like composing, there is like no way for me to get to understand the instrument because when we were talking about instrumentation, it's barely talked about like guitar. So it's really happy to hear that there is like a phenomenon textbook kind of to show us what we can do and how we can think of composing for guitar.
Absolutely. And there's no better resource than having a great guitarist like you do right next to you, Darren.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you about something.
Oh, I actually have a question.
Yes, go
So
first.
when you were talking about your it's kind of like a bibliography, your where you start from and what makes you now. And there was a sentence you were mentioning about like there was not a lot of like education or like a guitar festival or like events in Oklahoma City when you were there. But you were talking about you met a lot of like a quality student. What do you mean like a high quality student by then?
Oh, that's a really good question. So there was this one school in Oklahoma City called Class and School of Advanced Studies that is an arts magnet. So students actually, this was like the one place you could go where you could audition to be a part of a program, but this was a pre-college program. So this was as young as 6th grade going through 12th grade. So and the students that got in had to have high academic expectations. So they were very, very intelligent students. They were very motivated students. And there was a lot of improvement that needed to be made. I mean, I had to become a better teacher. They had to become better players. And we were able to kind of be in a laboratory together to do that. This picture right here, this would become the cover of Soundboard magazine. But this is after a group of Class and School of Advanced Studies students won virtually every national competition. But again, it was Class and SAS that put guitar on the map for Oklahoma City. And now we have guitar programs in many of the public schools, and we have strong collegiate programs. And I think Oklahoma City, actually, the program at OCU, I think, is very respected now and has an international reputation. We've won a few awards from the Guitar Foundation of America, and one of 3 programs that I taught was given the GFA Augustine Award for Excellence in Guitar Education. So there's only 3 programs that were given that, and we're one of the 3. So I don't mean to be so braggadocious. I'm just talking about like how happy I am and proud of these students. But many of these students, it's like Kerry Morrow is a guitar professor. He's on the board of the Lute Society of America right now. Colin Holloway is a well-known, traveling guitarist right now. And Henry Dillon and Peyton Wilson both went to USC and have had really, really exciting careers. Henry is actually an independent rock musician that's doing extremely well. But yeah, so many of these students have gone on and done something really special with their lives, and I'm just so proud of all of them. It was a magical group of students to have for the start of my career, and I was very fortunate because many people start teaching in very difficult situations where the students don't have a parental support, or the parents do not have socioeconomic opportunities, and all of those challenges can make teaching much more difficult. So I acknowledge that my situation was special.
So there's another thing is very special. That's why the Romeros like you.
Is that a question?
Why Oklahoma? Why they like you?
Yeah, when we were talking about this topic, the question is kind of from me. Like, once I was asking him, like, what makes Oklahoma City the special city that Romeros wanted to stay there? And it's kind of, for me, it's like, why they make the choice? I think at least there are like really good guitar like environment.
To be honest, I ask that question often about myself. And I've asked Pepe that question, and there's going to be a new video on the Romero Institute website. Pepe did a beautiful interview over the summer. And what's so important about the Celedonio Romero Guitar Institute, it's like everyone thinks about Pepe and you think about one of the most legendary guitarists of the 20th and 21st century. Someone who has an unbelievable guitar collection, who's lived this unbelievable life in the guitar. So he is this legendary figure. But the Celedonio Romero Guitar Institute focuses on Pepe's father. And Pepe's father was such an extraordinary individual. And what the Romeros want to do, the whole Romero family, is they want to make sure that the name of Celedonio is remembered. If there wasn't a Celedonio, of course, there would be no Pepe, there would be no Angel Romero, there would be no Celine, Lido, and Celino. And this legacy of, and Pepe Romero Jr., the great luthier, this legacy would not have happened. He was an amazing teacher, and he was an amazing humanitarian. And he was arrested for playing the guitar in Spain after yeah, I don't know many stories that have that in it. He was playing some music that some people thought he shouldn't be playing, and just the dynamics of the nation at that time after the Civil War.
Yes.
It was dangerous to be a musician. It was dangerous to be a poet. He escaped a dangerous situation for his family and ended up in the United States. He could have ended up in many other places, but he built this amazing life for his family, and he was an incredible father. He loved his children. I never met him. He had passed away before,
Yeah.
but what endeared me to the Romeros more than anyone else ever has before, and probably ever will, was just their love of family, their love of each other, their love of legacy, their understanding of history, and our connection to that legacy. I think they're very much connected to Francisco Tárrega.
Mm.
And Francisco Tárrega is another person who was an incredible human being. The impoverished people of his hometown loved him so much that when he became very ill at the end of his life, they stood vigil and watched over him to make sure that he would not be robbed, to make sure that he would be taken care of until his final breath.
Mm.
And then after he died, Tárrega was turned into a religious icon. They made a huge bust of his head, and they would carry his head around the town in festivals. And it was believed that that head had healing powers. So people would walk up and try to touch the face of Tárrega to be healed. And you know what that is? That's music.
Yes.
I mean, that is the power of the music that he made. And also, but also the quality of human that he was. We don't worry near enough about who our idols are and the quality of human that they are good people,
Yes.
that they're honest people, that they are trying to make a difference in this world and trying to make the world a better place. And for me, it's hard for me to listen to music of people that don't fit those qualities.
Mm.
And to know that Francisco Tárrega and the Romeros and Celedonio, that's who they are, creates passion in me and devotion. And I'm very loyal. And for me, I think what connects me to the Romeros so much is this understanding of community, the value of community, and the power of music. And when you put those two things together, there's this synergy that doesn't happen with any other combination. And I think when the Romero Institute started, I was a student. I was in the first class. And I remember walking in, and I used to suffer from high anxiety, claustrophobia, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult for me to function. And I would shake when I would play as a young person. And I remember going and seeing Pepe for the first time, and I was horrified, because you're going to play for this great artist, and I'd never met him before.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in, and I sit down, and he starts to talk about how he feels about music. And he started saying things that like when you play, you're giving a gift to your audience, and everybody loves to get a gift. He talked about the relationship that we have with the composer. And he just continued to talk about love, and he continued to talk about peace. And he continued to talk about music in a way that I had never heard anyone talk about it before.
Absolutely.
And I just started to weep. I just started to cry
Mhm.
in the middle of the lesson, because I knew I had found someone finally who could fit the model of what I was hoping for
Yeah.
in a mentor, and in what I wanted to try to give the world, what I thought music was for. Our goals were aligned. I don't deserve to direct the Celedonio Romero Guitar Institute. It is an incredible honor, and I'm incredibly thankful for it every day. But Pepe is like a father to me in many ways. After that first institute, he said, "Matt, I want to take you underneath my wing, and I want to guide your career." And the next year, I was on the cover of Soundboard, and all these crazy things started happening. And a lot of that, I mean, Pepe would not take direct credit for it. And maybe he wasn't the person pulling the strings to make those things happen, but his influence, his support have created a really special career for me. And I do not take it for granted. And it's what at the Romero Institute and with my students, that's what I hope to impart. And I hope that I can give back and provide those opportunities for the people who come into contact with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for the answer. That's
That's a touching
that's
story.
touching. Yeah, it is touching.